Stop believing the motorcycle industry has your interests in mind. The biggest manufacturers are bolting radar, oval pistons, and carbon fiber to motorcycles you cannot afford to repair, all to feed corporate ego at the dealership counter. Today, you get the 12 most over-engineered motorcycles ever sold. The final motorcycle has 8 valves per cylinder and pistons shaped like ovals. Number 12. The Niken is what happens when a motorcycle engineer becomes terrified of the front tire washing out in a corner. Yamaha solved that fear by bolting a second front wheel onto a perfectly good sport tourer. You probably think the third wheel makes it safer and more stable. The reality is the opposite. The Niken handles like a small reverse trike with the personality of a forklift. Built in 2018 by Yamaha's leaning multi-wheel division, the Niken uses the proven 847 cubic centimeters CP3 inline 3-engine pulled straight from the MT-09. It produces 115 horsepower and 64 pound-feet of torque. The front end carries 4 upside-down forks, a billet aluminum parallelogram linkage, and Ackerman steering geometry that lets both front wheels lean up to 45 degrees together. The dry weight sits at 581 pounds. It is precision, over-engineered to refuse to wash out the front tire in the wet, and Yamaha hand-finished every linkage component to keep the steering feel acceptable. As a piece of engineering, the front end is genuinely impressive. Yamaha filed 27 individual patents on the leaning multi-wheel architecture alone. Almost nobody actually buys the Niken because it weighs nearly 600 pounds, splits no traffic lanes thanks to the wide twin-wheel front, and gets laughed off every bike night in America. You sacrifice the entire reason you bought a motorcycle in the first place to gain a safety feature you never asked for. The front end alone weighs as much as a complete Honda Gram. You can grab a clean used example right now for $9,000 to $11,000 on the open market. New Yamaha originally asked $15,999, and the depreciation has been brutal because the rolling clown reputation never went away. Wait until you see what Honda did with airbags. Number 11, the Honda Goldwing Tour. Airbag DCT. Honda usually builds bulletproof motorcycles with engineering restraint. The flagship Goldwing throws that restraint into a wood chipper. You are looking at a touring motorcycle that thinks it is a luxury sedan with the roof torn off. You probably think it is just another big tourer. You are missing the point. The Goldwing has an airbag, a dual clutch transmission, an electric reverse gear, and Apple CarPlay built into the dashboard. Engineered by Honda's elite touring research division in Hamamatsu, the flagship runs a 1,833 cubic centimeter horizontally opposed flat 6, producing 125 horsepower and 125 pound-feet of torque. The 7-speed dual clutch transmission removes the manual clutch lever entirely, and the front suspension uses a double wishbone setup borrowed from automotive engineering instead of traditional forks. An automotive-grade airbag deploys from the gas tank in a frontal collision, and curb weight clocks in at 845 pounds for the airbag-equipped variant. It is a precision-engineered rolling living room. The seat is heated, the audio system is Marshall-grade, and the suspension self-adjusts thousands of times per second for a passenger comfort 10 out of 10. The dashboard alone holds more processing power than the original Apollo guidance computer. Most riders skip the airbag DCT model long-term because the complexity is genuinely terrifying once the warranty expires. A failed dual-clutch unit is a $6,000 dealer-only repair. The airbag module itself is non-serviceable outside the factory, and the proprietary reverse motor is a $2,400 part. You are buying a motorcycle that needs a Honda Civic-grade service network just to keep running. Brand new, the top-tier airbag model costs $33,000. Pristine used examples sit around $19,000 to $21,000. Imagine German engineers trying to copy a Harley. Number 10, the BMW R18 Transcontinental. The R18 Transcontinental is BMW's answer to a question nobody asked. What happens when a precise German automotive company tries to authentically recreate the loud, slow, vintage feel of an American cruiser? You get a 941-pound caricature with a touchscreen. Most riders assume the R18 is just a styled cruiser. The reality is the opposite. BMW engineered the entire vibration profile from scratch to feel intentionally rough at idle. Developed by BMW's Motorrad Heritage Division in Berlin, the R18 Transcontinental carries the largest boxer engine in BMW history, 1,802 cubic centimeters, producing 91 horsepower and a thunderous 116 pound-feet of torque at just 3,000 revolutions per minute. The exposed nickel-plated drive shaft sits directly under your right leg, and the engineers deliberately built the rocking couple vibration so that the entire motorcycle wobbles when you blip the throttle. A 10-inch digital touchscreen and a Marshall Gold Series acoustic system live in the front fairing. It is over-engineered because BMW deliberately built character into the hardware. The cylinder heads are forged from premium alloy and protrude into the rider's footrest area on purpose, replicating the look of a classic 1936 R5 Boxer. BMW even commissioned a custom audio recording of vintage Boxer engines to tune the exhaust note. Almost no rider keeps it long-term because the cylinder heads make highway peg use physically impossible. The 941-pound curb weight makes parking lot maneuvers terrifying, and the depreciation is one of the worst in the touring segment. A new R18 Transcontinental commands $25,000 to $26,500 from the BMW dealership. Used examples already sit at $14,000 to $16,000 with low miles, and the gap continues to widen every quarter. Number 9. The Ducati Multistrada V4 Pikes Peak. Adventure motorcycles were originally engineered to cross muddy rivers, drop onto jagged rocks, and survive years of neglect. Ducati took one look at that rugged philosophy and bolted automotive radar to a $31,000 street weapon shaped like a dirt bike. You probably think the Pikes Peak is built to ride dirt. It is not. This is a paved road missile dressed in adventure clothing. Developed by the legendary Ducati Corse racing department in Borgo Panigale, the Pikes Peak runs a 1,158 ccv 4 Gran Turismo engine producing 170 horsepower and 92 pound-feet of torque. Front and rear automotive-grade radar sensors enable adaptive cruise control and blind spot detection. A 6-axis inertial measurement unit coordinates cornering ABS, traction control, wheelie control, and the Skyhook semi-active OH lens suspension that adjusts damping thousands of times per second. Seat height towers at 33.1 inches. It is precision over-engineered for one specific use case, letting wealthy riders look like off-road adventurers while strictly riding to the espresso bar. The radar package was originally developed for Audi sedans and engineered down to fit motorcycle bodywork. The inertial measurement unit alone processes input from gyroscopes and accelerometers 1,000 times per second. Almost nobody actually rides this motorcycle in dirt because dropping it once cracks the front radar module, and a replacement costs $2,800 from Ducati, plus the proprietary calibration tool the dealership keeps locked in a back room. The first service alone runs $850 at most authorized shops. A brand new Multistrada V4 Pikes Peak demands an astronomical $30,995 from the showroom. Clean used examples plummet to $23,000 to $25,000 inside 2 years, and the depreciation is accelerating. Another supercharged nightmare hides on this list. Number 8. The Kawasaki Ninja H2S XSE. Sport touring is supposed to be about packing your saddlebags and crossing the country in absolute comfort. Kawasaki took that quiet philosophy and bolted a screaming aerospace-grade supercharger to it. Most riders assume the H2S XSE is just a faster touring motorcycle. The reality is the opposite. This is a pressurized cruise missile carrying hard luggage. Engineered by Kawasaki Heavy Industries with input from the gas turbine and aerospace division in Akashi, the SXSE runs a 998 cubic centimeter inline 4, equipped with a centrifugal supercharger whose forged aluminum impeller spins at 130,000 revolutions per minute. The engine produces 197 horsepower and 101 pound-feet of torque. Bosch radar units sit front and rear for adaptive cruise control and forward collision warning. The Showa Skyhook electronic suspension reads road conditions in real time, and a 6-axis IMU governs every electronic intervention. Curb weight is 590 pounds. It is over-engineered because Kawasaki refused to give up the supercharged H2 platform when building a tourer. They engineered military-grade, forced induction into a saddlebag-equipped commuter and called it a sport tourer. The supercharger alone produces over 200 liters of compressed air every second at full throttle. Riders skip it because the running costs are brutal. Proprietary supercharger maintenance, premium fuel only, and any minor crash damages the radar module, which costs more to replace than a used Ninja 650. The supercharger impeller alone costs $4,200 to replace. You write a check for $28,500 to $29,500 brand new. Used examples drop hard to $18,500 to $20,000 within 3 years, and the resale market never recovers. The next motorcycle wants to kill its rider. Number 7, the KTM 1390 Super Duke R Evo. KTM proudly calls this orange weapon the Beast. You can call it the absolute pinnacle of Austrian overengineering, a naked motorcycle so violently powerful it requires a supercomputer just to prevent the rider from flipping it backward at every stoplight. Most riders assume electronics are an option on the Super Duke. They are not. Without the electronics package, the 1390 is genuinely unrideable for normal humans. Designed by Kiska in Salzburg and built at KTM's Matthofen factory, the 1390 Super Duke R Evo runs a 1,350 cubic centimeter LC8 V-twin, producing 190 horsepower and 107 pound-feet of torque. Magnetic valve semi-active suspension that automatically drops the rear at a stoplight to deliver a drag strip launch stance. Carbon fiber aerodynamic winglets bolt to the gas tank to generate downforce. The steering damper is electronic, and the engine breathing system uses titanium-coated valves. Dry weight sits at 432 pounds. It is over-engineered because KTM refused to build a sane street fighter. The chassis is forged for a track and detuned for the road through pure software intervention. The electronics package alone contains 14 separate sensors feeding 3 independent ECU units. Most buyers ride it for 1 season and trade it in. The wheelie monster reputation is earned. Turn off the anti-wheelie algorithms and the front tire claws for the sky in the first 4 gears, and the harsh ergonomics destroy your wrists on any commute longer than 20 minutes. A brand new Super Duke R Evo costs $20,999 from the KTM dealer. Used examples consistently sit at $17,000 to $18,500 because demand stays strong among adrenaline addicts with full life insurance. Number 6, the Aston Martin AMB 001 Pro. The motorcycle industry has officially entered the toxic realm of billionaire absurdity. What happens when a luxury British automotive company decides to randomly build a track-only motorcycle? You get an over-engineered art piece that will never see actual asphalt. Most riders assume Aston Martin partnered with a real motorcycle company. They did. Brau Superior in Toulouse, France, hand builds every unit, and the result is wilder than anyone expected. Developed in collaboration between Aston Martin and Brau Superior in Toulouse, the AMB 001 Pro is meticulously hand-assembled from a custom-milled aluminum spine frame and full carbon fiber bodywork. The engine is 997 cubic centimeters, a twin force fed by a turbocharger, producing 225 horsepower at 11,000 revolutions per minute. Dry weight is a microscopic 386 pounds. The front suspension uses a Fior-type aluminum girder fork instead of traditional telescopic units, and the production run is strictly capped at 88 units worldwide. It is precision over-engineered to be looked at, not ridden. The hand-stitched leather seat is a minuscule pad glued to a rigid carbon spine, and the ergonomics are pure track torture. Each unit takes Brau Superior over 2,000 hours of skilled labor to assemble by hand. Almost zero owners ever risk taking one to a real track day because the bespoke paint costs more than a working-class car, and a single crash can totally destroy the carbon fiber frame. A brand new AMB 01 Pro originally cost $120,000 to $135,000, and only 88 units were ever built. You can only find them at exclusive collector auctions where bidding routinely closes north of $150,000. What if you paid $40,000 for downforce nobody uses? Number 5, the BMW M1000RR. BMW already possessed one of the greatest superbikes on the planet with the standard S1000RR. German executives demanded more prestige, more carbon fiber, and a brutal price hike, and they handed the perfect superbike over to BMW's Automotive M division. Most riders assume the M1000RR is just a fancier S1000RR. The reality is the opposite. This is a homologated world superbike race weapon, casually wearing mirrors. Engineered by BMW's prestigious M division in Munich, the M1000RR runs a 999 cubic centimeter inline-4 engine with titanium intake valves, Pankel titanium connecting rods, and a 15,100 revolutions per minute redline. Output sits at 212 horsepower and 83 pound-feet of torque. Carbon fiber M winglets bolt to the front, fairing for high-speed downforce, and the optional carbon fiber wheels save 3.7 pounds of unsprung weight. Every parameter is electronically adjustable, including engine braking, traction control, slide control, wheelie control, launch control, and a pit limiter. Curb weight is 423 pounds. It is over-engineered because BMW refused to build a road bike. They built a world superbike development project and sold it to riders who mostly see second gear on Sundays. The titanium connecting rods alone cost BMW more to manufacture than the entire engine of a Honda CB500. Skip-it logic is simple. The carbon fiber wheels crack on potholes, the engine begs to live above 14,000 revolutions per minute, and city traffic turns the precision power plant into a stuttering nightmare. A brand new M1000RR demands a staggering $37,500 from your dealership. Used examples settle from $28,000 to $30,000 with low miles, and the depreciation curve is steep. If you enjoy this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Number 4, the Bimota Tesi H2. Take a deeply over-engineered Kawasaki supercharged engine, hand it to a group of mad Italian boutique engineers, and tell them to completely reinvent the front suspension. The terrifying result is the Bimota Tesi H2, a motorcycle that visually looks like a transforming robot from a Michael Bay movie, stuck halfway through its messy transformation. Most riders assume Bimota uses normal forks. They do not. The Tesi H2 uses hub center steering, and that single decision rewrites everything about how the motorcycle handles. Built through a collaboration between Bimota in Rimini and Kawasaki Heavy Industries, the Tesi H2 carries the supercharged 998 cubic centimeters inline 4 pulled directly from the Ninja H2, producing 228 horsepower and 104 pound-feet of torque. The front suspension is a billet aluminum swing arm with dozens of pivot points, heim joints, and a complex linkage system connecting the handlebars to the front wheel hub. There are no traditional forks anywhere on the motorcycle. Production is strictly limited to 250 units annually. It is over-engineered because Bimota threw away forks and added a supercharger in the same project. The hub center steering separates braking forces from suspension forces, meaning the front never dives under hard braking. The linkage system contains 47 individual pivot points that all need precise alignment. Almost no one buys it because you feel completely disconnected from the front tire. Zero feedback, exactly like operating a heavy supercharged video game controller. Repair shops outside Italy genuinely refuse to service it. A brand new Bimota Tesi H2 demands a staggering $72,000. Used examples dropped to roughly $58,000 to $62,000 with low miles. One motorcycle on this list is banned everywhere. Number 3, the Kawasaki Ninja H2R. The Ninja H2R is the ultimate corporate flex of engineering dominance. It is not really a motorcycle, it is a ground-based missile that the Japanese government refuses to let on public roads, and that most racetracks refuse to allow on the circuit. Most riders assume the H2R is just a faster H2. They are wrong. This is a different planet of engineering. Developed across 3 Kawasaki Heavy Industries divisions, including aerospace, gas turbine, and corporate technology, the H2R runs a 998 cubic centimeters inline 4 engine equipped with a proprietary centrifugal supercharger producing 310 horsepower at 14,000 RPM, peaking at 326 horsepower with pressurized ram air. Carbon fiber aerodynamic wings prevent the front end from lifting at the verified 249 miles per hour top speed. The bodywork features a self-healing silver mirror paint job that contains a thick layer of pure silver. Dry weight is 476 pounds. It is over-engineered to a degree no other manufacturer has matched. The factory legally states that any time spent above 8,000 RPM requires a complete engine inspection every 15 hours of operation, and the motorcycle ships with zero warranty coverage. The supercharger alone runs at 21 pounds per square inch of boost pressure. Here is the irony. The screaming supercharged exhaust produces 120 decibels at full song, which violates noise limits at almost every track day event in the world. You cannot legally ride it on the street, and you are not allowed to ride it on most tracks. It is automotive purgatory. A brand new Ninja H2R commands $58,500 from the Kawasaki racing program. Used examples settle at $42,000 to $46,000 with very low hours. Number 2, the Ducati Superleggera V4. The Superleggera V4 is an incredibly fragile, terrifyingly fast piece of exotic jewelry that completely shatters the laws of physics and basic financial sense. Ducati threw out the entire weight reduction budget and built an entire motorcycle out of baked carbon fiber. Most riders assume the carbon parts are decorative. The reality is the opposite. The carbon fiber is structural everywhere it counts. Engineered by the elite Ducati Course division in Borgo Panigale, the Superleggera V4 runs a 998 cubic centimeters Desmosedici Stradale V4 engine, producing 234 horsepower and 87 pound-feet of torque when equipped with the titanium racing exhaust. The main frame, subframe, single-sided swing arm, biplane winglets, and even the rotating wheels are manufactured from autoclaved carbon fiber. Dry weight is a microscopic 335 pounds. Production is strictly limited to 500 units worldwide, each individually numbered. This machine is precision over-engineered to win on a closed circuit. The power-to-weight ratio is so aggressive, the motorcycle constantly fights its own traction control system. Ducati had to develop entirely new manufacturing processes just to produce structural carbon fiber wheels at this size and stiffness. Most riders skip it because the carbon fiber wheels can structurally crack on a single pothole, leading to catastrophic failure at speed. Drop the Superleggera at a stoplight, and the carbon frame does not just dent, it shatters and turns the motorcycle into scrap. You are paying a premium to ride a fragile plastic time bomb. A brand new Superleggera V4 demands $100,000 at the Ducati dealership. Used examples command $88,000 to $95,000, and prices are climbing as collectors hoard them. Before we crown number 1, brace yourself for oval pistons. Number 1, the Honda NR750. The undisputed king of over-engineering is not modern, and it is not turbocharged. It is a 1992 Honda from the era when Honda had unlimited racing budgets and zero accountability, the Honda NR750, the only production motorcycle in history with oval pistons. Most riders have never heard of the NR750, the ones who have assumed it is a normal V4 superbike. They are wrong. This motorcycle does not even share basic geometry with anything else Honda has ever built. Engineered by the Honda Racing Corporation in Tochigi as a road-going derivative of the NR500 Grand Prix project, the NR750 runs a 749 cubic centimeter, 90-degree V4 engine with oval-shaped pistons. Each cylinder houses 8 valves and 2 connecting rods, giving the engine 32 valves in total, effectively making the V4 behave like a tiny V8. Output is 125 horsepower at 14,000 revolutions per minute. The bodywork uses carbon fiber and magnesium alloy, and Honda built only 322 units worldwide. The original sticker price in 1992 was a staggering $50,000, equivalent to nearly $115,000 in today's money. It is over-engineered to a degree the industry has never repeated. Honda chased Formula One grade manufacturing tolerances on a street motorcycle to bypass FIM rules limiting cylinder count to 4. And the result was a precision-engineered miracle that required a Honda race technician just to set the valve clearances. The intake and exhaust ports were polished by hand to a mirror finish. Almost nobody actually rides their NR750 because every replacement part is custom made by Honda's racing department. and a single piston rebuild can run $25,000 if you find a technician willing to attempt it. The two connecting rods per cylinder must be perfectly synchronized, or the engine destroys itself within minutes. You will not find one used for under $180,000 today. Pristine examples at international auctions consistently break $250,000, and the values keep climbing because Honda will never build anything this insane again. The oval piston era ended with this single motorcycle. Across all 12 of these motorcycles, one pattern is impossible to miss. The industry stopped building precision tools for riders and started building corporate trophies for executives. Every over-engineered absurdity on this list shares the same DNA, engineering complexity stacked sky-high to feed prestige, not performance. The golden era built motorcycles to outlast the rider. Today's industry builds motorcycles to outlast the warranty, then bankrupt the second owner. The simple, bulletproof motorcycle is becoming an endangered species, and you are paying the price. Thanks for watching. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button. I will see you in the next one.